Okay, so in this video I'm going to go over my solution to do the convert2 program. This is going to convert between different units. Let me get things set up a little bit. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do first. First I'm going to get all my conversion units. I'm going to convert everything to feet. So 1 foot is going to be, this is a conversion factor for miles. 1 foot is as many miles. So I just type in here in Google. Alright, there's miles, kilometers, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do a bunch more of them. Alright, here's a bunch of them, and there could be more. So, for example, here's one. How many yards are in 1 foot? A third of a yard is in 1 foot. Okay, and then the other ones here, light years. How many light years are in a foot? Not very many. It's going to be very small. So this is scientific notation, and if you do scientific notation like this in C, it'll work. You use the E for times 10 to the power. The one for light years looked like this. So the way to write that in C, I can take this whole thing. It's like this, where you put the E, that means times 10 to the power. I rounded these, I got the exact ones in for that. So the way that I'm going to do this, first of all, let's get started with asking for the units. Welcome to the unit conversion program. Your choices for units will be okay, so I will print the choices of units. I'm going to leave that blank for a second, and then I want to get their choice. Choice. What unit do you want to convert from? I'll take that. Okay, so remember when you are reading in something, you use scanf, using percent whatever, and if they're typing some string, it's %s. Percent 999s means it's going to read at most 999. So it's not going to overwrite the amount of space we put here. And you always need to give scanf the address of where to go. If we just say s here because it's an array, it already means address, but it doesn't hurt. Just say address of s. An address of an array is just going to be the address of the array, so that will be fine. Okay, and now what do you want to convert to? And why don't I call this, instead of s, units from? We'll call this units to. Alright, so then once I have those, I need to check for that they typed something valid. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to organize this as follows. Let me just type here. I'm going to declare a new type of. So there's two ways to do this. Let's do it the simpler way. I'll do char. And let's do it the nicer way. Struct units from feet. Okay, we're were talking about structures yesterday. We're going to make something that has a char star s and double conversion factor. Okay, so this is a new type of thing. I'm just going to, so instead of s, call it units 2. Okay, what I'm thinking of this is this type of thing here. And if I together have a string like miles and a conversion factor, that tells me how to convert from feet to that. And what I'll do is have a bunch of these. I'm not sure how many I have there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright. So I'm going to have 10 of those. I'll call it conversions. That's the name of my variable. Okay, it's an array, and the type of the array is these things, and I'm going to initialize it. I'm going to initialize it like this. Okay. So we're setting things up here like this. The way this reads is, this is an array of 10 things. This conversion. There's going to be each one of these is sort of the 10 different things that it's initialized to. So this one here is conversion bracket 0. It has two different things inside of it. Here is a character string, and here is a double. This is declared as a character pointer, and what it's actually going to be is this string constant miles is in the program, and character bracket 0 dot units 2 will refer to that character string. Okay, so each one of these we need to put the brackets and the quotes around. Pause while I do that. Alright, I've got them all in now. Conversion bracket 0, bracket 1, bracket 2, bracket 3, bracket 4, bracket 5, bracket 6, bracket 7. Is there only pause? Okay, let's see if we can get this thing done. Now, we have our conversion array, conversion bracket 0 there, 1, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's only 8 of these. I'll put an 8 there. Right, that's our array, and down here we wanted to check to see whether they type something valid. And the things we want to check is whether it's one of these things. This first one would be conversion bracket 0 dot units 2. Conversion bracket 0 is a struct. This should be typed units. Units from feet. And then a units from feet thing has dot units 2. There's 8 of these. So I'll have to do like so. I'll check the first one. 4, I equal 0, I less than 8, I plus plus. And what I want to check is this units from, and I'll check against conversion was the name of my variable up there, bracket I dot units 2. So if that is 0, remember str compare returns 0 if they're the same. So if it's the same, I'll set a flag that says int units OK equals 0. I'll set a flag that says units OK equal 1. Okay, so then I want to, if it's not OK, I could have something here that says something like if units, if not units okay, then I would want to say there's a problem, right? Okay, so but instead of that, what I'll do is this. These variables up above. I'm going to ask for this. So I'll keep doing this while not units okay. So I have my ask for the units, check to see if it's one of the ones that's okay. If it's not, I'll print an error message. Invalid unit. Try again. Okay, so this reads really nice. Ask for the unit they want to convert from, check to see if it's on the list. If it's not, tell them it's not, and then if it's not on the list, we'll go back up and ask again. And we'll do the same kind of thing for the units too. I have to put this variable up above the while loop so that, see, if I had my units from declared right here, that would be just inside of these curly braces, and when I get outside of them, I wouldn't be able to use it again. Okay, so I'll do the same type of thing, except I'll be looking at units 2. There's the units 2. I want to check units 2. And before I start this, I'll have to say this unit's okay. Let me just declare this like this here. And here you want to say units okay equals 0. Set it to 0, and then I'll look through all the ones that are valid, and if I find that it was one of those, that'll set it to 1. But initially, before I look at anything, I don't know what it is. Alright, so I'll have to do that down here too. So you want to, it has to be there, and you can think about what would happen if I had it like up here instead. Why that would be wrong. So you can pause it and try and think about that. But this is the right spot for it here. And then I want to do that while not units okay. Then I know after this first while loop, the units from will be a valid units, and the units to will be a valid units. Then I want to actually do the conversion. So to do the conversion, I'm going to need to know which one of the units they actually typed. And why don't I just keep track of that? Units from index, units to index. The index into the array, and the spot where I want to save that is probably here. Units from index equals I. And then down here, units to index equals I. The reason I want that is because the index in the array tells me which row it is here, and that is this factor, the factor that I want. Okay, then my conversion will be, first I need to get their number, right? Okay, how many blank? And I want to get their amount from %LD or LF for a double, address of amount from. I'm going to have to pause this again, come back to it later. Okay, so let's see, where were we? We have our while loops, we have our amounts, There's the amount that we're going to convert from. Now we need to do the conversion, and this is where the whole thing pays off. What I'm going to do is convert to feet, and then convert from feet. Okay, so we have our units from. Let's say that we're converting from miles to kilometers. What I first do is convert from miles to feet, and the way I do that is I divide by this amount, and then I convert feet to kilometers. And the way I do that is I multiply by that amount. Supposedly, I think my formula is new amount equals amount from divided by one of the conversion factors. So one of the conversion factors, I need to put a number in there, and I'm doing, what was it called, units from index, and the amount, let's see, the name of that was dot conversion factor. So that'll convert from my units to feet, and now I'll convert from feet to the other one. And then we'll just print it. And I want to print it with all the information in there. So it was amounts from, and this %s, I want to do the whatever they converted from. So that's units from, and then the new amount, new amount, and whatever they converted to. That was called units 2, I think. Units 2. Let's try it. Your choices will be, that's a mistake. Let's see what the problem is. I was supposed to print those, I think. Choices will be, so we ought to print these choices. And I just want to print off the choice there. That is in the conversion variable bracket I, and then dot units 2. And then at the end I'll print my new line. And I need to put this I up before I use it. I'll put it at the top. Alright. That light years is supposed to be one thing. Let's convert from yards to miles. How many? That should say yards there. I can go and fix that. Let's see. How many? Units from. Alright, when I run that again, that should be alright. I think it's 1700 roughly, and that's close to 0.9. Let's run it again. Let's convert from miles to yards. 1 mile is that many yards. Let's convert from miles to kilometers. Let's say we have 10 miles, 16 kilometers. That's correct. Let's see if we try to type something wrong. Invalid units, try again. And I'll convert from light years. Okay, there's a problem there because of scanf. Scanf is stopping at the space and just taking like to be the first thing typed in years. So let's just try parsecs. 2 miles and one parsec is this many miles. Alright, so there would be some problem with that. The way we would fix that is by using a get line, by getting the input one line at a time. But let's go back to the code. I'll show the top. This is our structure that has the units and the conversion factor together. And here I have the name of the units and the conversion from that unit, from feet to that unit. You can pause the screen. I'm going to go back down. If you pause the video. Here I'm printing my initial stuff, going through my array of conversions. You can pause the screen here. Each one of these do while loops is pretty much the same. I'm getting the units, the scanf, and then checking to see whether it was one of the ones in there. If it's one of the ones in there, then I set this unit's OK to be 1, and I also set which index I found it at. Keep going as long as the units are not OK. Same thing for both the units I'm converting from and the units I'm converting to. And then last is doing the conversion. And if you're not sure, if I wasn't sure whether I'm supposed to divide or multiply, I probably would just try it out to see that I get the right thing. Alright, so that was this one. The end.